Coming up on the November 20th edition of Sports Extra, it was a shutout for the field hockey team in another Final Four heartbreak.
And it was a tale of two teams as the men's and women's soccer squads faced elimination this weekend.
And the football team transformed into purple people eaters on Senior Day. All that and so much more, Sports Extra starts
right now.
From the University of North Carolina School of Media and Journalism, covering the full range of Tar Heel athletics, this is Sports Extra.
Well, we must be doing something right. The football team can't stop not losing. Welcome to Sports Extra. I'm Abby Presley.
And I'm Peyton Walker. While the football team beat up on some lesser competition, other heel squads were taking on some top talent and falling by the wayside. The field hockey team took on undefeated UConn in the national semifinals on Friday, marking UNC's 9th straight Final Four appearance. Following a scoreless first half, UConn's Charlotte Vietner broke the tie off of a penalty corner with this strike, giving the top-ranked Huskies a 1-0 edge. However, the Tar Heels wouldn't go down without a fight as Ava Vantahoe came through in the clutch, providing this equalizing goal with about 2 minutes left to play. These last-minute heroics were ultimately in vain, though, as neither team was able to score in the 2 overtime periods. The Huskies came away victorious by winning 3-0 in the shootout, and the Heels' season ends in heartbreak once again. The Heels have struggled in the latter stages of the NCAA tournament since their most recent national championship win in 2009. They're 5-8 in semifinals and championship games since then, including Friday's loss to UConn, which went on to beat Maryland for this year's title. The encouraging news, the Heels have only one senior graduating in the spring.
Hoping to avoid a similar fate, the women's soccer team continued its journey for a title on Friday night against Colorado. This game was a little too close for the Tar Heels. Watch here as Dorian Bailey makes a nice run into the box and has a good claim for a penalty. But she didn't win her case. Later in the half, Alessa Russo shows off her skill with this cheeky back heel pass, but Megan Buckingham just couldn't get enough on the shot. UNC finally broke through in the 26th minute. This nice cross in the box goes to Sydney Spruill, whose shot was deflected. But Bridget Andrzejewski was there to clean up the mess, and the Heels parked the bus for much of the second half. They came away with a 1-0 win. But Sunday against Princeton was a different story. The Tigers quickly caught the Tar Heels off guard within the opening minutes when goalkeeper Samantha Leshnak cleared the ball into the backside of Taylor Otto, and the ball bounces into the back of the net for an own goal. Later in the half, Bridget Andrzejewski got UNC back in the game with this rocket past the goalie, tying the game at 1. The Heels had plenty of chances after that, the most notable one coming off of this free kick from Joanna Boyles, which clanked off the top of the crossbar late in the second half. In the overtime period, Princeton finally clinched the upset when Abby Gibbons poked the ball past Leshnak for the golden goal, ending UNC's season. Here's Coach Anson Dorrance after the game.
This team is the ACC champion, and I'm just sorry we didn't go further into the NCAA tournament. But again, we played a very strong adversary today, and they took us out. But I look back on most of the season with wonderful satisfaction.
The women's soccer team hasn't won a championship since 2012, and for this program, that's an eternity. Every year since the most recent championship win, the Tar Heels have lost by just 1 goal in each knockout game they've lost. This is coming from a program that won 21 of the first 30 NCAA tournaments.
Later that night, the men's soccer team played its second round match against UNCW, and it had all you could want as a soccer fan. The Heels seemed to get on the board first on this goal in the front of the net, but wait, the linesman flag is up. The score was 0-0 at halftime. In the second half, things got heated as players got tangled up and others discussing dinner plans for after the game. Later, a pass through the seam made its way to Jelani Peters, who buries it to move the Heels ahead 1-0. 3 minutes later, the Heels make it 2-0 on a shot from 25 yards out by Mauricio Pineda. Heels win 2-1 and advance to the Sweet 16 for the 9th time in the past 10 seasons. After defeating the Seahawks, the Heels will face the SMU Mustangs in the 3rd round. SMU has beaten Central Arkansas and 14th-seeded Georgetown en route to this matchup. If the 3rd-seeded Heels move on, they could face Duke in the quarterfinals.
The Tar Heels looked like they had broken out the old Larry Fedora high-scoring offense as they scored 9 touchdowns on Senior Day against Western Carolina. The touchdown frenzy began with a 16-yard pass to Anthony Ratliff-Williams, followed by a pass to senior Josh Cabrera, and then a dime to tight end Brandon Fritz. The defense wanted to get in on the scoring action, so Malik Carney popped the ball loose and Jonathan Smith scooped it up and ran it to the end zone. Jordan Brown powered his way into the end zone for 6, and Cabrera snagged his second touchdown on his senior day. Michael Carter had a sweet touchdown and then a not-so-sweet celebration. And Bo Corrales caught the ball and said, "Get off me, little boy," as he shook 2 defenders and ran 44 yards to the end zone for a touchdown. Chaz Surratt ended the night with a 59-yard touchdown. So it's safe to say that after this game, the cheerleaders are now jacked. For senior Austin Prohl, this game meant a lot more than just a win. It was about overcoming injuries to be with his team on senior day.
You know, each and every day you got guys, walking out to practice, going into meetings with energy and a smile on their face and, ready to win a game. And I decided from the minute I got out of surgery that, seeing those guys and seeing people come see me and that I wanted to come back.
Well, it's always nice to win the final home game, but the football team has one more game on the 2017 schedule. The Heels travel up I-40 to play NC State on Saturday, and football analyst Paul Beam is here to break it all down. Paul, what are the keys to the game for the Heels?
Abby, the 2 players UNC has to watch out for play on opposite sides of the ball. I'll start with NC State's offense, and it runs through one guy, Jalen Samuels. Samuels is a hybrid player playing wide receiver and running back. He has 66 receptions and 63 rushing attempts on the year, meaning NC State is looking to get Samuels the ball in a variety of different ways. There's a reason he gets the ball so much. He's effective. Samuels averages 94 all-purpose yards per game, and he leads the team in total touchdowns with 14 on the year. The Heels must shut him down to have a chance in this game. The other guy UNC needs to watch out for is one of the best defensive players in the country, defensive end Bradley Chubb. In my opinion, Chubb is the best all-around defensive end in the country. He's a rock-solid run defender, sealing off the edges and racking up 24 tackles for loss on the season. But the thing that has NFL scouts drooling is his pass rushing ability. Chubb has every move in the book, keeping offensive linemen up at night. And if that wasn't enough to sway you, with this sack, Chubb broke the NC State career sacks record, eclipsing former NFL #1 overall pick Mario Williams. He commands a double team on every play. Now, this Carolina football season has been a downer, and regardless of what happens in this game, this will be the 2017 UNC football finale. UNC is coming off 2 impressive wins and seems to have finally figured out its identity. NC State, on the other hand, had a letdown against Wake Forest and won't be qualifying for New Year's Six Bowl like the fan base had hoped. For these reasons, and the fact that the road team has won the previous 4 meetings between these teams, I have the Heels ending the season on a high note, running roughshod over not our rival NC State, 31-17. Abby?
Well, a 3-8 UNC beating NC State in Carter Finley on the final game of a banner year for state football. That's the most #NC State stuff I've ever heard. That's football analyst Paul Beam in studio. Thanks, Paul.
Some familiar Tar Heel faces were back in action during the weekend in the National Football League. Trey Boston grabs his 3rd interception in his last 3 games for the Chargers as he picks off Bills quarterback Nathan Peterman. Ryan Switzer was a lone bright spot for Dallas last night, turning on the Jets for this 61-yard return on the opening kickoff. Mitchell Trubisky tried to lead a late comeback in Chicago versus Detroit. He finds his tight end in the back of the end zone on this play-action pass that had the defense guessing. And then in the closing seconds, Trubisky had this nifty run. Out comes Connor Barth to try to tie the game. Bears lose by 3. The champs are hoping for a repeat.
The men's coming up on Sports Extra.
The men's basketball team sings Bye Bye Bison.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes, but with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
It's me, Artie. Come see what I collected from the Creative Galaxy in my idea box.
Transform your world.
Will you help me make art?
Each one of our journeys keeps us young. Before you throw it away,
Hey, I have an idea.
think outside the box.
We'll never get older. Each one Go be amazing!
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Morning, Gary. We are GetSchooled.com. You want a college education, don't you? Gary, financial aid forms. Biology homework, G. Picking a college, man. You and us go together like tacos and Tuesday. And I love tacos.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
The men's basketball team is undefeated. The most recent victims, the Bucknell Bison. And guess who's back? That's right, Final Four MOP Joel Berry came back after being out with a broken hand. He added 8 points, but Luke May picked him up with another solid game. He scored 20 points and grabbed 9 rebounds, shooting a cool 50% from the floor. Theo Pinson added 6 assists to complement a career-high 19 points in 33 minutes of play. Freshman Sterling Manley surprised off the bench, recording his first career double-double. This was Coach Roy Williams' 400th win as head coach at Carolina.
We weren't nearly as good defensively as we needed to be, but we made enough plays. They cut it to 1, and I think Steve told me we made a couple of free throws, and then I finally made one decent call and called a set play from the sideline, and Luke made a 3 from the top of the key.
A little too close for comfort for the Heels, and basketball analyst Michael Coe was certainly on pins and needles watching the game. Michael, what did you see?
Well, Peyton, when I wasn't covering my eyes in fear, I saw a team that, as talented as these guys are offensively, still has work to do. For now, though, let's focus on the positives. One of the biggest surprises of the young season has been a stud off the bench, freshman Sterling Manley. Now, last week, I highlighted Manley's work against Northern Iowa, but against Bucknell, the big fellow is even better. After coming close to a double-double against the Panthers, Manley got that and then some, scoring 16 points and grabbing a team-high 13 boards in just 17 minutes of game time. Manley showed the touch too, shooting an efficient 60% from the floor, including some nice jumpers. Manley's contributions off the bench will be key to the Heels going forward. Now, Manley and the Heels move from the friendly confines of the Dean Dome out west, where tonight they'll pay a visit to Maples Pavilion to take on the Stanford Cardinal. Sports Illustrated projects Stanford 5th in the Pac-12 after a disappointing 2017 season. Junior forward Reed Travis leads the team. Through 4 games, Travis is averaging more than 21 points per game and shooting better than 50% from the floor. Stanford took an early L against Eastern Washington, but it is a true road game, so the Heels better be ready to roll. And after the Heels play the Cardinal, they'll travel to Portland, Oregon to participate in the highly anticipated Phil Knight Invitational. If the Heels can take care of business in their opening round contest against Portland, they could see a familiar face in the second round. Arkansas will play its first game against Oklahoma and could meet UNC in the second round. You know the Hogs will want revenge for their defeat to Carolina in the NCAA tournament last year. And the familiar foes don't end there. A potential matchup for the Heels in the finals, the Oregon Ducks. Oh boy. Now, Peyton, this is just one of 2 brackets in the Invitational, and the other includes Duke and Gonzaga. Some big names, but none as big as the champs.
Well, sounds like a competitive tournament. Dropping knowledge, as always, that's basketball analyst Michael Coe in studio. Thanks, Michael.
2 former Heels have been lighting it up in the NBA recently, Danny Green and Harrison Barnes. Green played great defense against the Oklahoma City Thunder on Friday and knocked down 5 threes. Let's count them. Bang, bang, another bang, and one more bang. Barnes has scored 18 points in each of his past 2 games and averaged 6.5 rebounds. First, he took it to the Minnesota Timberwolves before helping out the Mavericks destroy the Milwaukee Bucks and fellow Tar Heel John Henson. Barnes and Green will face off 1 week from today. Getting back to the current Heels, the women's basketball team looked to start a winning streak, taking on Radford Thursday night. The Highlanders were getting hyped up early on, but that wasn't enough to stop Janelle Bailey from dropping 19 points on their heads, including this nice fake and splash. Carolina was just far too much for Radford in this one, as the Heels took an early lead and never looked back. The final score, 79-46. Paris Key was a scoring machine versus South Alabama on Sunday. Key had 31 points on 63% shooting on the night. However, South Alabama was able to hang around with hot 3-point shooting. As a team, the Jaguars shot 48% from behind the arc. UNC was up by 1 point with 9 seconds left when South Alabama inbounded the ball to China Ellis, who got free and laid the ball in. The Heels had the ball with 5 seconds left, so Jamie Cherry, who has been known for her clutch gene, took the final shot, but it hit the front rim and fell out. South Alabama comes out on top against the Heels 85-84. Despite the loss, the women's basketball team still has a high-profile freshman looking to make an impact. You've heard of Janelle Bailey. Destiny Walker shows us another name to watch out for.
South Carolina Gatorade Player of the Year, Jalen Murray, is enjoying being a part of Carolina women's basketball.
I chose UNC because when I came up here on my official visit, everybody treated me like family, and I felt like I could spend the next 4 years of my life here.
Murray says that playing in college has been a challenge for her.
In high school, you could get by with not doing something simple, but in college it's very competitive, and everything you do has a purpose.
Murray is ready to step up and help her team whenever and wherever she's needed.
Since I'm a versatile player, I can play anywhere on the court. So sometimes I'm at the 3 position, or sometimes I'm even at the 5 position, so I could go from guard to post.
Not only is Murray athletic and coachable, but she also and coaches enjoy.
Off the court, she is probably the funniest player I've ever coached. She's fun to be around. Her teammates love to be around her. On the court, she is super athletic, and so we recruited her because of her long arms, her ability to jump. She can rebound, block shots. She plays on the perimeter. She can play with her back to the basket. Very versatile player.
Murray has a few goals she wants to achieve this season.
I want to make the all-freshman team, make the all-academic team, and I want to make a huge impact for my team this year.
She also has fairly high expectations for the team.
I want to win the ACC tournament and make it to the NCAA tournament.
Murray, along with the other younger players on the team, hope to continue developing as they strive for that title. I'm Destiny Walker, reporting.
Murray and the Heels play their next game Wednesday at home versus UNC Wilmington.
The volleyball team opened up a 4-game road trip on Friday with Notre Dame, and it was an all-too-familiar road outcome for the Heels. Notre Dame showed no mercy in the first set, putting up 16 kills with a .400 hitting percentage. The Heels' blocks weren't enough to stop the raw power from the Irish early on, and they just couldn't catch up. In the second set, the Heels got within 3, but Notre Dame's Rebecca Nunge said no ma'am and shut the door. A botched pass would sign, seal, and deliver the Heels their 7th sweep of the season. And against Louisville on Sunday, the Heels got off to a slow start, dropping the first 2 sets. They would come back storming in the third, though. Down 20-13, the Heels came all the way back to take the lead with this block by Beth Nordhorn and Taylor Furcano. They would take the third set and the fourth, forcing a 5th set to 15. And Carolina got off to a hot start thanks to back-to-back kills by Taylor Leaf, but it just wasn't in the cards. Louisville would come back and take the final set and the match 3-2. College athletics is swimming in cash.
But are club sports seeing any of that money?
With the groove, show move, keep it smooth as I bust the move. Ayo, step it swiftly. I just moved in with his family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous.
We did a summer show. We are live.
Coming up on the October 16th edition of Sports Extra, a huge announcement from the NCAA has Carolina fans breathing a big sigh of relief.
The old banners are still hanging, and the basketball team unveiled a new one in the Dean Dome.
And the Cavs came into Keenan and asked, "Hey Tar Heels, need a new daddy?" All that and so much more as Sports Extra starts
right now.
From the University of North Carolina School of Media and Journalism, covering the full range of Tar Heel athletics.
It took everything I had not to bust out laughing right there.
The color in my garden keeps the pink in my cheeks. I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell and I had to have Meals on Wheels. They're my savior. My name is Lola Silvestri. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
As a parent, I think it's tragic that 1 in 5 children struggles with hunger right here in America. But there is hope. Visit feedingamerica.org to help. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Up to 40% of businesses never recover after experiencing a major disaster. Make a plan at ready.gov/business.
Varsity sports fall under the jurisdiction of Athletics Director Bubba Cunningham, who is having a very lucrative week. For more about what we bring in, reporter Colleen Brown is live from Hooker Fields. Colleen, what do you have for us today?
Abby, after another successful year of Carolina athletics, the university awarded Bubba Cunningham with a big new contract. The base contract, covering 6 years, is worth more than $740,000 per year, and plenty of incentives are included that could add to that total. For example, if the football or basketball teams win a national championship during the next 6 years, Cunningham will earn $100,000 for each. Different levels of success, both in and out of the classroom in varsity sports, will help determine other bonuses Cunningham earns. So it looks like Bubba and the varsity athletic department are sitting pretty. But one group that's not? Club sports. Club sports at Carolina have a long tradition of success, but they're doing so on a pretty limited budget.
I would say just the cliche that our sports clubs are balling on a budget.
Club sports are run through campus recreation.
Campus recreation is a student fee funded department. Currently, campus recreation receives $54 per student per semester.
The current budget is $115,000, split between 50 teams.
Some clubs receive more because of just the needs that they have for their clubs, because we do have some clubs who it's really expensive to participate.
Hockey alone takes up $10,000, meaning smaller teams like Club Squash have to fundraise heavily.
But there's like so many events, and trying to get everyone in the club to go to an event is a real challenge. Or for example, if the sport club has a benefit night that's supporting Special Olympics, I need to tell my club, I need to get them, like everyone, before practice, after practice, we'll go to True, we'll go to Yopa, wherever it is, and get everyone involved.
Another problem caused by a lack of funds? It's hard to accept and support new teams like Club Squash or Club Beach Volleyball.
It's kind of a catch-22. Of course, that the council and the administrative staff would like to, have more clubs, but that means less money and also less resources.
And unfortunately for these club teams, it looks like this budget is here to stay.
I think the increase in sports club funding is probably a few years down the line.
Still, a lack of funds can't keep these heels down. Club sports. No money, no problems. Back to you.
That's reporter Colleen Brown live from Hooker Fields. Thanks, Colleen. Now, there are several iconic coaches at Carolina.
This UNC coach is taking one last lunch for his team.
Open up your books to page 360.
Did you just look at your phone while you was in class? You played yourself.
Talking about inspirational quotes.
You gotta believe in yourself. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Louise, can you give me an example of an inspirational quote?
Don't play yourself. The key is to make it.
And who said that?
I did. Now that's a major key alert.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at getschool.com.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Ron Miller is the coach for the UNC fencing team and also the longest-serving active coach at the school. This is his 51st year.
Our Jonah Lossie found out about his 51 years worth of influence.
A coach, a teacher, a father figure. Ron Miller is coaching in his 51st season and has watched more than 1,000 of his fencers graduate. Miller first came to North Carolina as a PE instructor in 1967, when fencing was still a club sport.
I told the members of the club that we were going to become a varsity sport and that they had to act like varsity athletes. So everybody but 3 quit.
50 years later, Miller has earned 1,500 wins at Carolina, but he is retiring at the end of this season. Bruce Walker fenced for Miller from 1988 to 1992 and says Miller is a UNC legend.
Just like Roy Williams or Dean Smith, and I was here when Dean Smith was here, he's not only a coach, he's an institution. He is a part of Carolina and always will be.
Walker also says Miller was like a second father to him, and that's something Sydney Persing can relate to.
My grandmother's sick. He's the first person I called. And I said, Coach, I'm so upset. I don't know how to handle it. And he sat out here with me for an hour and a half the other day. Just talked to me about life and death and, mourning and grief. And he's a deep dude, and he wants to do it, and he loves to do it.
Miller said retirement won't keep him from this team, and that he'll stop by whenever possible.
We'll still always, look to him for advice and, technique and all that. And I have no doubt that he'll still be around for as long as he's alive. He'll be here.
51 years, a lot of memories, and a lot of impact. In Chapel Hill, I'm Jonah Lossie, reporting.
Wow, he definitely seems so sweet. I can only imagine the kind of legacy he's leaving behind here at Carolina.
51 years, Peyton. I cannot even imagine. I have an immense respect for that man.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Sports Extra.
Thanks for watching. Good night.